So no, thank you for this opportunity, and I have a case which actually I just did before coming for this meeting. So I got a 61-year-old male. He's a lifelong smoker. He's a diabetic. He comes in with a left great toe gangrene, and so the background, he had a left popliteal aneurysm, which was resected, and what they did was they placed an interposition vein graft in 2016. So he got last to follow-up, didn't really have any surveillance ultrasounds. He was been having claudication, and finally, he was working in his garage, stopped his left great toe, and finally presents to us. So his non-invasive testing, his ABI was on the left was 0.5. His ultrasound showed that the left distal femoropopliteal arterial segment was occluded and monophasic waveforms distally. So this is his pelvic angiogram. Looks pretty benign, nothing significant. This is his left proximal mid-SFA. Again, nothing really concerning. And down when you get to the distal SFA, you can see just by the Hunter's canal, there's a blunt occlusion and collaterals coming off. You can see the surgical clips by the C mark, and then reconstitutes by collaterals at the P2 segment. And he's got a decent runoff, but very slow flow in the AT. And the PT is quite a robust vessel. And remember, his gangrene was his left big great toe. And that's the runoff all the way to the foot. So essentially, we had an occluded left popliteal aneurysm vein graft. So we went up, had a 6-French system. So I tried to penetrate it with a glide wire angle, was going to the collaterals. So finally, I used a stiff and managed to get into the groove. And then I tried and was not able to get through completely because there was so much scar tissue from the surgery. So what I decided was I came in through the left PT. And usually when I get PT access, I leave the micropuncture sheath, what I use is a mini catheter, leave it there. So I don't like to upgrade it to a 4 or 5 French sheath. And then came down, took an angiogram, made sure that, yeah, this is the spot. And then here again, once again, I was going to the collateral. So finally I managed to make my way up. And once again, right here, I got stuck. So what I decided was create a few dissection planes and see if I could enter. And something, use the card technique principle. So I ballooned from up top and then made sure my wires were on the same plane. I take orthogonal views. And what I did was essentially I snared the wire. I picked that region of the popliteal because it was all scar tissue. So once I did rail it, what I did was I did an IVUS. Okay? And this is the IVUS going from the distal SFA into the TPT trunk. And I'm going to get this moving a little more faster. So that's a healthy segment, roughly around 5 millimeter vessel. And it goes into this. And this portion, I really didn't understand what the other portion was and whether I was inside and outside the lumen. I presumed most likely I was within the vein graft looking at the entire diameter. And then finally, all the way into the TPT trunk, which looked pretty decent and healthy. So what I did was I decided to go ahead and put a wire-bound stent because I wasn't sure if doing a atherectomy with all the grommets and putting a filter I thought might be cumbersome. So I went ahead and deployed a 6 by 150 millimeter wire-bound. And the next thing I did was ballooned it, got some good post-dilatation, and then I did another IVUS. And this is going from distal to proximal. And on the whole, it looked pretty decent, except right here, which is exactly where the surgical clips are. It starts to almost start to have a pancake effect right here. So I wasn't very happy with this. So I went ahead and aggressively dilated just this portion with a 720 charger balloon. And once I did that, we got some good results. We had some good inflow, a decent outflow. And then I did a bent knee angiogram. And finally, what I did was I did another bent knee IVUS to ensure my stent is well expanded and well opposed. My idea was if it was not well opposed, well expanded, and given that this is a region which goes through a lot of torsion, the idea was to do a DCB and line it up with the supera, so kind of gives the stability. And then the patient had good runoff to the foot. So I haven't seen him in my clinic yet to see how he's doing. So thank you.